Have you ever wondered how one man could change the course of history forever? Our tale begins in the ancient city of Pella, the year 356 before the birth of Christ. A child is born to King Philip II and Queen Olympias, a boy who would rise to become one of the greatest military commanders the world has ever known. A man who would forge an empire that stretched from Greece to Egypt, from Persia to India, a man known as Alexander the Great. From an early age, Alexander displayed signs of greatness. His thirst for knowledge was insatiable, and his education was entrusted to the great philosopher Aristotle. Under Aristotle's tutelage, Alexander was introduced to a world beyond his father's kingdom, a world filled with diverse cultures, political systems, and philosophies. This education would later prove instrumental in his understanding of the vast world he aimed to conquer. Yet it wasn't just his intellectual prowess that marked him for greatness. His physical strength and courage were also remarkable. One of the most iconic tales of his youth is the taming of Bucephalus, a wild horse thought to be untamable. With patience, courage, and understanding, Alexander tamed the beast, a feat that would become a metaphor for his future conquests. But life was not all lessons and triumphs for the young prince. In the year 336 before Christ, tragedy struck. King Philip II, Alexander's father and the ruler of Macedonia, was assassinated. The kingdom was thrown into chaos, and Alexander, barely 20 years old, ascended to the throne. The weight of the crown was heavy, but the young king bore it with a determination that belied his years. Alexander knew his destiny was not to rule over a single kingdom. His education, his courage, his ambition all pointed him towards a larger goal. He was not content to remain within the borders of Macedonia. His eyes were set on the vast world beyond, a world ripe for conquest. And so a young king took the throne, his eyes set on the vast world beyond his kingdom. A throne does not make a king, his actions do. And so it was with Alexander the Great, a young man who would shape the course of history with his audacious exploits and unparalleled military strategy. Upon taking the throne, Alexander immediately executed the princes of Lyncestis, who were allegedly behind the assassination of his father, as well as any and all other potential rivals. Alexander then set his sights on the fractious Greek city-states. First, he proceeded southward, reclaiming an uncertain Thessaly. And during a gathering of the Greek League of Corinth, he was designated as supreme commander for the imminent invasion of Asia, a plan initially set in motion by Philip. After returning to Macedonia via Delphi, where he received acclamation from the Pythian priestess as invincible, he advanced into Thrace in the spring of 335. There he successfully traversed the Shipka Pass, defeated the Triballi, and crossed the Danube to scatter the Getae. Turning his forces westward, he subsequently vanquished and dispersed a coalition of Illyrians who had invaded Macedonia. Rumors of his demise sparked a rebellion in Thebes. Other Greek city-states sympathized with Thebes, with Athenians under the influence of Demosthenes voting in favor of aid. Remarkably, within 2 weeks, Alexander covered 240 miles from Pelion, near modern Korçë, Albania, in Illyria to Thebes. Upon the Thebans' refusal to capitulate, he led his troops into the city, reducing it to rubble, with only temples and Pindar's residents spared. The casualties numbered 6,000, while survivors were sold into bondage. This ruthless display of power instilled fear in the other Greek city-states, allowing Alexander to adopt a more lenient stance towards Athens. Macedonian garrisons were stationed in strategic locations, including Corinth, Chalcis, and the Cadmea, the citadel of Thebes. Macedonian garrisons were stationed in strategic locations, including Corinth, Chalcis, and the Cadmea, the citadel of Thebes. This was Alexander's first taste of conquest, but it was far from his last. With Greece under his belt, Alexander turned his gaze eastward towards the sprawling Persian Empire. The Persians, a formidable adversary, had long been a thorn in the side of the Greeks. But where others saw an insurmountable obstacle, Alexander saw opportunity. His Persian campaign kicked off with the Battle of Granicus. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Alexander led his troops to a resounding victory, slaughtering most of the mercenaries used by the Persians, thanks to his innovative tactics and strategic use of heavy cavalry. This first victory was a statement of intent, a signal to the world that a new power was on the rise. The Battle of Issus followed. It was here that Alexander learned that King Darius III was just north of his position, along the Pinarus River. Alexander again won a decisive victory against the Persian forces. The battle quickly turned into a rout of the Persian forces, and King Darius himself fled the field, leaving his own family in the hands of Alexander. A testament to Alexander's character, all of the women were treated with the utmost of chivalrous care. With every victory, Alexander's empire expanded, his legend growing as vast as the lands he conquered. If you're enjoying this video, then please take the time to like and subscribe. But for Alexander, the known world was not enough. His ambitions and dreams extended far beyond the edges of the maps of his time. He was not content to rule just Macedonia or Greece or even Persia. Alexander sought to bring the entire world under his dominion. As he set his sights on Egypt, he was welcomed as a liberator. The Egyptians, weary of Persian rule, eagerly accepted Alexander's reign. In his time there, he founded the city of Alexandria, a place that would become a beacon of knowledge and culture for centuries to come. Here, the world's brightest minds would gather, their ideas and discoveries echoing down the corridors of time, shaping the world we live in today. Alexander's thirst for conquest then took him eastward, chasing the fleeing Persian king Darius III. This was a pursuit not just of a man, but of the symbolic representation of an empire. Capturing Darius was to claim the Persian Empire itself. But Darius eluded Alexander, his capture and subsequent murder by his own men, denying Alexander the satisfaction of a personal victory. Undeterred, Alexander continued his march eastward, his eyes set on the exotic lands of India. There he would face one of his toughest battles at the river Hydaspes. Against the mighty King Porus and his formidable elephants, Alexander's men fought with a ferocity fueled by their leader's relentless ambition. The victory at Hydaspes was a testament to Alexander's military genius, but it also marked the furthest point of his conquests. His weary men, yearning for home, finally persuaded him to turn back. Alexander had reached the ends of the known world, but his thirst for conquest was far from quenched. He had conquered vast lands, founded cities, and left an indelible mark on history. Yet for Alexander, it was never enough. His dreams were bigger than the world he lived in, and his ambition boundless. Alexander the Great indeed. Greatness, as they say, comes with a price. A price indeed that Alexander the Great would pay in full. Despite his remarkable victories and the vast empire he commanded, his journey was not devoid of struggles. The relentless march of his campaign began to wear on his men. They had left their homes and families behind, trading the comfort of familiarity for the harsh realities of war. Their loyalty to their leader was tested by the relentless pace, the alien landscapes, and the constant peril they faced. Discontent began to creep in like a slow poison, threatening to fracture the unity of Alexander's grand army. But it wasn't just his troops who bore the burden of the campaign. Alexander himself was not immune to the trials of his conquest. He grappled with illnesses, his body ravaged by the extreme climates and the rigors of battle. Despite his godlike image, he was, after all, a man of flesh and blood. His health waned, yet his spirit remained unbroken, his ambition undimmed. Then came his sudden and unexpected death in Babylon at the tender age of 32. A life filled with unparalleled accomplishments was cut abruptly short, shrouded in mystery. Conspiracy theories abound even today, speculating on the cause of his demise. Was it illness, a result of his strenuous campaign, or was it something more sinister? The truth remains elusive, adding yet another layer of intrigue to his legendary life. In death, as in life, Alexander the Great left a mark that time could not erase. His legacy, unmatched in the annals of history, continues to echo through the corridors of time, a legacy built on the pillars of conquest, culture, and inspiration. Alexander's conquests were not just about territorial gains, they were the catalyst for the spread of Greek culture, a culture rich in philosophy, arts, and science. From the sun-drenched shores of Greece to the far reaches of Egypt and India, Alexander's empire became a colossal crucible of cultural exchange. The seeds he planted gave birth to the Hellenistic era, a period of extraordinary intellectual and cultural growth. Cities like Alexandria, a beacon of knowledge with its great library, stood as monuments to his enduring cultural influence. Yet the ripples of Alexander's legacy extended further. His life, his conquests, his ambitions, they all served as an inspiration for those who dared to dream of ruling the world. From Julius Caesar to Napoleon Bonaparte, the spectre of Alexander loomed large, a yardstick against which all would-be conquerors measured themselves. His story, a testament to the audacious power of human ambition, has been told and retold across generations. One can't help but ponder, what could Alexander have achieved had he lived longer? Could he have pushed the boundaries of his empire even further, or perhaps fostered a period of peace and consolidation? We can only speculate, as the what-ifs of history are tantalizingly elusive. Yet it's undeniable that his untimely death at the age of 32 left a void that could never be filled. And so we remember Alexander, not as a man, not as a king, but as a symbol of greatness, a testament to the incredible power of human ambition. His legacy, etched in the sands of time, continues to inspire, to challenge, and to remind us of the indomitable spirit of humanity. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the legacy of Alexander the Great, then please take the time before you go to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are the Minutemen of History.